What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of 𝐦𝐨𝐷𝐿 Knowledge. Today, it's Top 5 Tuesday, and I laughed because I really was thinking, what do I want to call this list? But anyway, it's Cancer season. That Cancer is the sign of mom, the fourth house, home, family. I'm going to name 5 positions that I've seen within my studies that creates a strong connection to mom, for better or worse. And mind you, the way my Gemini mind works and Virgo mind works is like, I hope people don't see strong and just automatically think good. And that's something, with astrology, always want to, it's a spectrum, you know what I'm saying? So significant, and this will be an interesting one. And I do want to use this to plug. Also, I have a Patreon. Feel free to join my Patreon. But anyway, top 5 placements for a strong relationship with mom. Okay, so we know first and foremost that the 4th house and the sign of Cancer are going to be proponents in this, right? So we're not really going to look for Cancer placements so much, but off the rip, we'll know that Cancer placements, regardless of house, along with the aspects made towards the moon, will influence and show dynamics and relationships with that said parent. In my observations, I want to go a little bit deeper. The first interesting one, this is a synastry aspect overall that's one of the best, and that is a sun-moon conjunction. Now, in this particular one, I find that it is much more significant when the child, boy or girl, has the moon sign of their mother's sun sign. In essence, what this shows is that you are a direct product of her nurturing, okay? And whatever significant qualities from her sun sign, good or bad, will be within you. And depending on how you're raised, which more than likely conjunction, very close knit, you'll easily absorb all of them. So the sign here really matters. When we go with fire, we see this is the people who look like that parent, and really very much so their outward demeanor and expressions are very much so connected to that parent. So, the good is motivation, is confidence, is courage, is some type of talent. The negatives could be arrogance. I saw something the other day, it was like Kim Kardashian showing a video of one of her kids. I don't know. I think they got 2 boys. One of the boys, and he said, "Oh, if you're watching this, I hate you." Granted, I don't know if he know what he's saying, but that is Kanye's child, and the kid is of the age where he's conscious enough to watch the decisions that his parent or parents make and adapt that. So I bring that to say, with fire, you'll really see if your parent is arrogant, you're likely arrogant too. If they're a hothead, you're a hothead. This is also further evidenced by aspects to Mars, things of that nature. So sun-moon conjunction, very, very interesting. In water, it's emotionally based, so that's not always the best. That could be extremely erratic. Earth-based, it'll be practical, grounded in some type of direction. So naturally, if one is a Capricorn, if it's a Capricorn sun moon, the parent is giving the child something to inherit, or kind of crafting their path with expectation, things of that nature. And then air, this is where you really get that natural relationship oriented, appreciation of a parent and child. Whether it's Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, you'll find that these people with that aspect will be like, oh yeah, my parents one of my best friends, or my parents always been like my friend. Or a lot of times with the Aquarius, it's like, yeah, my parent wasn't really like a parent. I wish they were a little bit more because they were a little bit too detached. But, you know, like I said, it's the good and the bad there. Next aspect to pay attention to, Moon conjunct, or just in aspect, not even just conjunction, pardon me. Moon in aspect towards Pluto. Conjunctions being the strongest of that. And, okay, this can play out in a lot of different ways too. And then also the modality is going to play a role here too, which I'm going to speak on in the next one. But Moon Pluto contacts is like this. Mom means well. So this can be mom is, you know, you have a good relationship with your mom and she means well, but there's a power struggle. More than likely, she's a little overbearing. She doesn't know boundaries well. Okay, and that's going to be further evidence of Neptune is here, or if this is happening like the 12th or the 5th or something, right? So the boundaries thing and the overbearing thing can really, when you're a kid, it's like you don't really know that, like that your parent is this way. It's not until you get to a certain age and you start seeing how other people's parents are, like, damn. Moon Pluto in partnerships. Let's say more so you're gonna see that. No, you can see this on both hands. More so you'll probably see it with a woman, a mom and her son, but Moon Pluto contacts could be like mom doesn't like your partners, or there's some type of gossip or Plutonian situations connected towards, you know, the development of the relationship. So mom could betray, you know, that you and your mom and your partner trying to build a rapport, mom betrays her, or vice versa. Those kind of things, you know, and it's like you're in love with your partner, but you know there's a secret tension between her and your mom. Your mom doesn't really like her. Shit like that. And then, like I said, that overbearing thing could spill out into other ways too. Okay, so, but on a positive, you know, on a positive note, like those people, like the parent and child, there's a shared intimacy there. That's you know, and that's kind of like a product of that. And ultimately, like with the child, through time, they got to take their power back and enforce the boundaries. Okay, so playing off of that a little bit more, and just looking at modalities. So particularly, I first really noticed that with like contacts between, you know, Pluto and Scorpio generation, Pluto and Libra generation. And then when you go into that, you'll see cardinal, you got fixed. So the fixed signs, particularly if we look at the moon being debilitated in Scorpio, exalted in Taurus, right? Moons in those signs are really going to create that some type of particular fixed dynamic on with the parent and the child. So it can be financial dependence, right? Where, and just to give more insight, let's say 8 or 12 is involved. That can, a person may feel like, yo, my parent subtly manipulates me, right? With money or something like that. On the cardinal tip, that's more so like with, you'll see more of that financial manipulation, Capricorn moons, like if it's Leo moons, okay, or Taurus moons, you want to see where the wealth is coming from and all of that. So you have that. Then you'll have, with the fixed signs, intimidation. An intimidation, whether it be like the child being afraid to make the parent upset with their decisions, things like that. Okay, so it's this real overbearingness, and it always comes with stipulations. It's the fun part. And then that's why I always tell people, like, don't like an astrology reading. It doesn't matter how old you are, can really make you aware of things that you never were aware of in childhood. So it's like, it's always, you can always learn something. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you want to look at your chart and a myriad of different ways. Even if you've been studying it a year or two, just look at it from a different perspective. Okay, let me focus in on just my moon and concentrate on how that's played out. And, you know, pay attention to those connections. You'll see little things like that. Okay? So, fixed moons. Then, I seen with cardinal moons, this is more so where, and I talk about this in my book, I feel like cardinal signs really bind us towards the material realm and ego and all of that. So within the relationships with parent and child with cardinal connections, and this is also evident, I'm talking about, like, let's say we got a Libra moon in the 10th house, okay, and that's trine like Saturn or something like that. That's a real strong cardinal influence here. The relationship will very much so be like, okay, my father was this, or my mom was this, I'm gonna come inherit this. With that, that's where you'll find a lot of times these people tend to, when we talk about like dating or just living and expressing, sometimes may feel like within a box, okay? Because they don't want to venture out too far in hopes of, not wanting to upset the balance, you know what I'm saying, they have with their parent. So that's something I've seen that cardinal signs have to really look out. And then just, you know, bringing the mutables into it, I feel like, because remember, mutable is transitionary energy. So in the context of what we're talking about, the mutables will more so come from or have relationships in which the parents either support that free spirit, right? So that could be interracial dating, being raised Muslim but not really adopting it, you know, things of that nature. At the same time, with mutable energy, I've found that in the axis of Pisces and Virgo, depending on particularly the aspects to those moons, you also can have a parent who may be overly critical, small-minded in regards to certain things that the child is pursuing. But then in other cases, if it, like, say you have is aspected well with like Neptune or a great ruling planet, you have the opposite. You just have that support, okay? So I wanted to give you that understanding of how the relationship plays out based on the modes. Lastly, what I want to go into is kind of like a bonus too. But you'll definitely want to look at Moon and Venus. So naturally, a Moon-Venus conjunction is going to create some type of dynamic, better or worse, in which the person idolizes the mom. They're basing their whole like understanding of relationships or connections with female, you know, based on that particular relationship. So if this is a guy and it's in something like Cancer, this can be, you have the foresight to see like, oh, this someone's going to be, however the relationship with his mom is, those needs, whether they were met or unmet, is going to shape how that person is expecting from this partnership. So it's interesting to always hear that Cancer men in general are very, very needy. And as you know, someone who has a lot of them as friends, I try to tell them that, and they ain't trying to hear it. They definitely don't be trying to hear it. So you want to check out Moon Venus. So if Venus is in a good position, that's enhancing, you know, that ability. If Moon is in a favorable one too, it is. But you can really get insight into just seeing the differences in those particular placements and then blending them together. All right. So it's a little bit about relationship dynamics with the mom. Feel free to chime in. Let me know what yours is looking like. If you need a reading, feel free to reach out. We'll set something up. Check out my book, Astrology of the Matrix. Till next time, peace.